Chapter 7, Personality Patterns. The goal and intention for this chapter is, again, it's not about self-improvement, but self-discovery, self-understanding. We are, as human beings, so vast in what we experience, what we feel, and oftentimes we can get a little bit stuck in a sense of what our identity is, as if our identity is fixed or not. We get in patterns of our personality, and that can start to become very automatic. And if you are in this class, it's likely because you are experiencing some discomfort or suffering from anxiety or from your own patterns or the ways you move and see in the world. And when we start to take a look at what are our personality patterns, what that allows us to do is to make it conscious, to see our habits, and then to give us some tools around how to navigate or branch out and to find and develop all the different parts of ourselves. Joseph Campbell has this beautiful quote: "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And we've heard from Michael Meade, a famous mythologist, that talks about this story. Instead of the concept that when we die, we are judged as either being good or bad, but that when we die, we are asked, did you truly become yourself? And so hopefully what you can use this chapter for is to use it as a place of blooming and becoming. To be able to ask yourself and to be able to look at old constructs of your personality and to be able to ask yourself what feels relevant and authentic today. So first, I'd like you to take a closer look at these Jungian archetypes. Jungian archetypes are universal symbolic patterns or themes that are present in the human psyche. And each archetype represents a different aspect of the human experience. You've got this graphic actually in your workbook so that you can look at it much closer. But you can see how we have some of these ideas that we even kind of reference that you see in the modern world, like the romantic or the boss. You know, we've got like these personality patterns, and some people, either in knowing these in yourself or in other people, are going to help you start to navigate where you tend to default and how you show up frequently in the world, and to ask yourself, okay, who else am I? What else do I need to be able to move forward? And the idea here is that none of these are fixed, and none of them are good or bad. The goal is to be able to shapeshift and move depending on what's called for and what's needed in the moment. So Jungian archetypes are a great way that are actually pretty quick to start to understand the self. And I'll also show you the Enneagram. The Enneagram is actually a test you can take online. There's a number of free small ones out there, but then the actual Enneagram Institute has it available online for, I think, just under $13. And obviously the anxiety experts, we don't have any affiliation with the Enneagram. It's just one of the major psychology tests that are out there. And here you might be able to identify who's the helper. Helpers are the people that want to kind of rush into a situation. They always have an idea for what's needed, but their shadow side can also be then feeling like the martyr or feeling like nobody ever does anything for me. So all of these parts have strengths, and then they have shadow sides of what happens when they're not balanced. We think in culture often about like the starving artist or the romantic, the one who's always longing for something more in life and creating a lot of art out of that. So again, these are really fun things that you can do. And honestly, you can go through it and look and I'd be able to identify, oh, you know what? I often see myself as the boss. And that's actually a really sufficient way to start to get to know these personality types. But it also can be really useful to take the test. Now, another way of understanding your personality types and your habits of being is to do a values exercise. You want to identify times where you are happiest, most proud, most fulfilled, most satisfied. Those are often clues to values. There's going to be a value list on the next page, and also that you can reference in the quiz that helps you just determine core values. And what you want to do is you go through all these different words, group some of the similar values together, but then narrow it down to about 3, maybe 5. I know this is maybe a really busy graph to read, but again, you'll have it so that you can look at it directly, and even you can print it out if you like to be able to see or scratch out what's going to resonate most with you. Is it honesty? Is it loyalty? Is it compassion? What resonates with you? What do you know makes the most meaning in your life? And then to include this as a way, as kind of a tag along also on what we talked about in the previous chapter about rewiring faulty thinking, is then how do you make it into a verb and make it actionable? So let's say you identify that freedom is really important to you. I want to live in freedom. I want to act with mindfulness or promote well-being. I want to multiply happiness. Those are ways to start to identify values and then make a verb with it and make it actionable so that you can start to live into it more in your life. And then here is a long list of questions to help you start to go deeper into your sense of identity. What do I like? What do I like now as an adult? What did I like as a child? What do I want or desire? What do I feel is unavailable to me in the things that I want and desire? What brings tears to my eyes? What makes me angry? What strengthens me? What regenerates me? Take some time to go through and answer all of these questions. You don't have to answer them all at once, but do take your time to tap into each one. And that is going to help you build out your sense of self. And again, all of these exercises, the archetypes, the Enneagram, the values exercise, and the identity exercises, it makes the subconscious conscious. And when you can see your own motivations, your own habits, your own patterns, that's what's going to then allow you to sit and be with what's coming through you and your actions, and then also make new choices about how you want to show up in the world. And here are some reflections that will help support you in this process. Notice, what is your main archetype? Which archetype do I use the least? Which archetype do I have the most judgment about? And understand again that all of these styles have something to offer. So which one would I like to embody more? And imagine how that would change your life.